Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. Let's have a look at the latest Nintendo 64 core, which was released on the 4th of October 2023. Now it's quite possible by the time I release this video, Robert Peip, the developer, has released another core. So the first thing we are looking at is Ridge Racer 64. My racing might look bad at the beginning, but I finished this race and I actually finished third, and honestly I am getting better even though the beginning of the race may not reflect that. Let me just have a look at the release notes with this. So what Robert Peip is saying is visual interface, implement Dedither and anti-aliasing. I know a lot of you guys were like, we can't wait for anti-aliasing to be implemented. Well, now it is. And the other one, VI, only do bilinear scaling when the game enables it. So awesome stuff. As you can see, Ridge Racer just looks brilliant. It plays really good, and honestly the more I play it, the more I like this game. It's definitely not my favorite Ridge Racer, but nonetheless it's a great game. And you guys should definitely check it out. So in this video we're going to be having a look at a few things. We're going to be looking at a few games with effects on, effects off. We've also got Perfect Dark running on there, and we'll have a look at that next. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, guys, then hey, a subscription and a like is super appreciated. Let's have a look at some N64 games. Okay guys, absolutely awesome news. Perfect Dark is working now. Well, kind of. You can't run the vanilla version of the game. You need to run a patch version of the game. Similar to how, you know, we played Mario 64, we're still using a no-face ROM hack. A little bit similar to that because Perfect Dark uses TLB. If you want to know more about TLB and exactly what it means, because I don't fully understand it myself, but Video Game Esoterica has done a video on it explaining and kind of going into detail about that. I'll leave a link to that in the description of the video. Do check that out if you want more of an understanding on TLB. So what this patch does, it bypasses the TLB or the TLB check, so it gets you into game. Now the people over on the Discord are saying for some people it's crashing on the first level. Someone made it to level 4 before it crashed. Someone got quite far in there and it hasn't crashed for them. I want to send a special thank you out to a friend of mine, or an insane friend of mine. So over on Discord, insane friend, because he helped me with the patching of this ROM, because I was kind of pressed for time. I finished night shift and I was like, right, let me try and get this video out as soon as possible. So awesome, insane friend, absolutely awesome guy, brilliant at N64 games. This is a guy that was almost completing Mario 64 in complete darkness, like doing the levels. I've featured his videos before on the channel. But if you want to play, you know, you can wait for Robert to implement TLB, which is going to be one of the last things he implements to the core, or you can go ahead and run this patch. Now I'll leave a link to the patch in the description of the video. Really sorry I can't do a tutorial at the end. I just don't have the time. I kind of need to do this video and sleep before my wife goes crazy at me for doing videos before I go to work and then coming home and doing more videos. So Perfect Dark, it's running. You can see it for yourself. It's working well. Now I'm hearing a bit of crackle in the sound, so the audio's okay, but there's a slight bit of crackly sound, which kind of reminds me of the Saturn core. Remember with the Saturn core we had like a lot of crackly sounds? I mean, it's not bad, but it's definitely, I'm hearing crackle. No snap, only crackle and no pop. Well, maybe a bit of pop. Anyway, if you do want to play Perfect Dark, guys, you can. You just need to patch the ROM. Anyway, let's move over to the next game.
Who are you and what are you doing here?
Okay, let's have a look at Clay Fighters 63 and a third. Now this was requested a couple of times from a couple of you guys, saying you wanted to see it with texture filtering off. So I'm going to turn off some of the effects, dithering, bilinear, and the gamma as well. We're going to there's an additional 2 visual effects as well. We'll kind of mess about with the effects and have a look, but the main thing here is texture filtering off. I don't know, I kind of prefer it with it on, even though this is, you know, like more of a 2D kind of pixel based game to some extent, but the good thing is we've got so many options. You can just mix and match them exactly how you want to do it. So Clay Fighters has been running well for a while. It's actually a fun game. It's a fun beat 'em up. I would like to play it and go through this. It seems to have like Street Fighter style combos. The way you can kind of, like, one thing I always liked in Street Fighter was short super. And you can kind of do this in you can do short super in this. I don't really like in the newer games they've kind of taken out that classic short super. Clay Fighters delivers on that. But as you can see, we're going to go through some of the stuff, turn it off. Now I'm just going to turn everything back on, and there we go. We're going to see what it looks like, so you can kind of make up your mind. and decide for yourself what you actually like. But the most important thing, we have options, guys, and that is just great. And also, I think I forgot to mention in the beginning, I'll leave a link to Robert's Patreon in the description of the video if you do want to support his work, because honestly, the guy puts out so many calls. I think someone mentioned that in the month of September, fun fact, he done 22 updates to the Nintendo 64 core. That's coming up to almost one per day. I think there was some days where there was like more than one. But if you want to play Clay Fighters, you can play it. It's up to you how you want to play it. You know, you want to play it with all the effects on, you want to turn texture filtering on, off. It's completely up to you how you want to play it. You can mess around with it in game, after game, however you want to do it. And honestly, like it's just amazing to have the choices and the fact that we can do it on the fly. But anyway, that's kind of it for Clay Fighters. Let's move on to the next game. Okay guys, let's have a look at Mario 64 and let's mess about with some of the visual options. Now, I don't know if it's something in my setup. I'll have to look at that, or if this is something that's come with the core, but I'm kind of getting like random crackly sounds in the video. I didn't really notice too much of it while filming, but hey, I am kind of noticing it now. So here we go, just everything turned off there. You can see the water there, see what it looks like. I'm trying to kind of work out areas where it does make a little bit of a difference, and then we'll kind of go through some of the visual options. But honestly, like it's amazing how far this core has come. I know a lot of you guys wanted anti-aliasing. It's here. Later on, there's another game, man, where the gamma, turning the gamma off and on makes the difference is like night and day. But there you go. Hopefully you saw something there and you can decide for yourself how you want to play Mario 64. So those of you guys that know me personally, my friends, and those of you that have been around on the channel a while, and guys that I speak to, you know I like fighting games, and I'm really looking forward to getting Killer Instinct on the Nintendo 64. And sometimes we get a little bit further, but you know what, for now it's still crashing. It didn't even take me into game this time. I ran it a couple of times. It kind of always crashed for me around the same part. Hopefully one day there'll be a nice surprise where we get into game and we can play this awesome fighter. Okay guys, here I wanted to have a look at Rogue Squadron. I've still got my save from the last time I played it, but this part here on the menu, you couldn't see any of this. You kind of had to go into the game blind. Now you can still go into the game, but that menu there at the beginning, you couldn't see anything. I was just mashing A, mashing A, mashing A, and I was so surprised that it worked. Now when you're seeing like the cutscenes in the beginning, you've got that line at the bottom which was present there, but honestly, once the game starts, the game just works. It works brilliantly, flawlessly. It looks good. It plays well. It is the Rogue Squadron I remember. Honestly, like playing this now, it just reminds me of playing this on the N64. But it's nice to see that you don't have to get into the menus blind. You can move it left and right, select your mission. It's not just a black screen there, because initially when I first tried this at a later iteration of the core, I mean I tried this first time on the core because I love this game, but later when I tried it I got a black screen and I was like, okay, that's not working. But that wasn't the case. You know, one thing that I learned, and a big shout out to Fuzzy and the guys over on the Discord, they said mash A. Things don't work, mash A. And by mashing A or mashing star or one of the buttons, it brought me into the game because I just kind of selected, yes, pick that mission, pick that mission, pick that mission. But hey, now you can kind of see the start menu. You can see the mission, select start. Even though it's a little bit glitchy, it will kind of disappear and reappear, but it's perfectly manageable. And once you get into game, it just looks superb. Okay, this was another request, WWF No Mercy, and I do like the fact that some of these games are playable on D-pad. The analog stick is torn, which is kind of like the opposite way Smash Brothers works. That's why I can't play Smash Brothers. But here, whoever requested WWF No Mercy, it's working now. I'm not really into new wrestling games. I'm into the old ones. Hey man, give me WWF Superstars, give me Midway, the Royal Rumble game by Midway, and that's what I like. But just flicking the options off and on, I definitely prefer it with all of the options on. Turning them off, yeah, it just makes everything, it definitely makes it look like a PlayStation or more like a Saturn game, where I think the visual effects the Nintendo 64 core now has to offer makes the game look like Nintendo 64 games. I mean, some of you guys might prefer this. It doesn't actually look that bad, but at least for me, I definitely prefer prefer it with the options on. So let me know what your favorite wrestling game is on the Nintendo 64. I kind of like that Japanese one. What was it called? Like Virtual Wrestling, or I don't know, V Wrestling. It was a Japanese only title. That one was surprisingly good, and I really like the characters in there, everything. Not that I dislike the characters in here, but my era of wrestling is way before this one. I mean, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know, those were the guys when I watched it. Macho Man Randy Savage, all these ones, they're like the next gen. But hey, whoever wanted this checked out, it works, it's all good. Now the title screen for this, it goes like into a dark screen, so going back to the advice of pressing start, and once you get past that part, you get to a press start button, and then you can select like a different game mode. So remember that. Remember when you're running this core and you get like a black screen, you know, press the buttons, press A, press start, just see if that actual screen is missing and you can bypass it. Obviously if nothing happens, well, the game's not working, and there's still a few of those. Okay guys, this was another request. Mission Impossible. I always think of that game Impossible Mission, but this is Mission Impossible based on the movie. Now guys, like the gamma off and on, look at the difference here. It's night and day. It really does make a big difference. There's a lot of games where I'm flicking that option off and on, and honestly it's not making much of a difference. I'm kind of getting nostalgia here, not for the Tom Cruise movies, but anyone remember, I think, was it an 80s show, maybe even a 70s? In fact, I'm pretty sure it was 80s, where we had Mission Impossible. It was a great TV show. I remember watching it as a kid, and maybe that's something I need to rewatch. I don't really have the time to do it in between my work and the YouTube stuff and the family stuff. I hardly have time for actually playing games, but hey, I wouldn't mind watching Mission Impossible. I did actually take some time out to watch Castlevania Nocturne. If you guys are into Castlevania, I'm heavily into Castlevania. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet, maybe close your ears or turn the volume down for the next 5 seconds. Okay, I didn't like it as much as the first series on Netflix, but hey, that's me. Let me know what you thought of Castlevania Nocturne. Let's just go through and have a look at some of the visual effects. Again, don't really know much about this game, but one thing I can say is like turning on gamma off and on, like it really makes a big difference in the game. Like it's like Robert, the developer, said, it makes a difference in some games. This is definitely one of them. But I'm kind of rounding up the video here. I think that's really it. Try and support Robert over on Patreon if you can. He's an absolute awesome guy, really nice, really polite, and his work is just amazing. And the rate this core is developing at is just second to none. I mean, it's hard for me to make videos and keep up with the work Robert is doing, but it's amazing to be in this space at this moment in time. So that's kind of it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit of a quick one, but like I said, I was on night shift last night, and this is me coming home in the morning and smashing out a video before my wife completely kills me. If you did enjoy this content, then hey, a subscription and a like is super appreciated. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.